Taco.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've been waiting for. The Knicks are, 2 picks away from, their NBA 2020 draft selection. I think that the board is shaken out in probably the best possible way if you're a Knicks fan. With some of the guys that you were looking at, unless you are a big fan of, I know there was a lot of people that wanted Okoro, but let's be honest, right now the draft is going to get hot and spicy. We just said Onyeka Ngaku go at number 6 to the Hawks. They're saying at number 7, it looks like Killian Hayes is more than likely going to go to the Detroit Pistons. He was someone I know that the Knicks were very heavily interested in getting.
And didn't you just say for Onyeko, his injury's not that bad, right? It
No,
wasn't.
it's not a serious injury.
I thought he was going to drop when they reported that. They made it sound like he was going to drop. So I was like, maybe he drops.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, can we get him where we are? Because to me, he's like the perfect player to put along Mitch because he can play good defense. He can shoot the three. But I mean, right now, I'm looking at Obi Toppin. I'm looking like there's a good chance that we're going to have a shot at him, who I think could be a great compliment to Mitch. And then I think that the other player that we could see there is Devi, the guy from Israel, who he was supposed to go in the top 5. So to see,
they had him at what,
at 4, at 3, 4. He was going 4 in most drafts. So right now, I mean, I'm just.
But they were talking about because he played professional in Israel, is what it is, right?
Yes,
professional in Israel. His numbers were down, is what they were saying. I think I heard Pierce talk earlier today. Maybe it was Pierce. Maybe I'm misquoting. I apologize for that. But they were, I guess, comparing him to LaMelo in numbers wise, and they were just saying like there's a bit of a discrepancy, numbers wise. But if he's on the board, yeah, I mean, he is somebody I would consider.
Well, for me, I just love his skill set. He's a big guy. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can create. He can rebound. He provides, I think, a lineup flexibility that we'd be able to have. But I think Obi Toppin could be one of the best scorers that are going to come out of this draft. And he can shoot the three. He can attack the rim. He can go in the post. It really, I feel like, comes down to what do you plan on doing later in the draft. And is there a player that Boston really likes here? Because the way this draft is shaking out, I don't mind going back and getting Kira. But it looks like
most likely we kept the pick, right?
Yeah, it looks like the Knicks are more than likely going to be getting Obi Toppin. That's what we got Woj saying here. Obi Toppin might.
I would take Obi. We were talking about him earlier.
Yeah, so it looks like, because I thought that he would be one of the 3. Like I said, you don't have to go for need. We need a point guard. Halliburton is a guy that was very high on the board. A lot of people liked Halliburton. He has a wonky jump shot, to be honest, and I think that's what scared a lot of people is he going to be able to get his shot off when he's trying to create his own shot, and is he going to be able to get it off consistently? And I think that's why he went from being, some people had him as the number 1 guard in the draft. Now he's probably not going to go in the top 8. I really do see the Knicks, if everything shakes out the way it says, and Killian Hayes goes at number 7 to Detroit, then yeah, the Knicks are getting Toppin, and I think that's going to be tremendous.
If we do get him, we were looking at a lot of in comparison earlier. I was stats wise and what he's a big guy. I think in the draft wise.
Yeah, I mean he was basically college player of the year last year. I mean this year, and the thing about Obi that's really great is that he's from New York. He's a New York kid. So and he's really not even a kid, because when you look at him age wise, he's about the same age as Frank, and he's about the same age as a guy like RJ. But the beautiful thing about a guy like Obi Toppin, I feel like, is that he can shoot, he could take it to the rack, he's dynamic. He can make plays. Here comes the 7th pick.
I like is it happening?
Killian Hayes went number 7. I mean, like I said during the pre-draft, that was the guy that I wanted, and I felt like he was going to go 1 pick ahead of us, Killian Hayes. And it worked out just like that. He's going to Detroit. I thought we would have been left. I thought Obi Toppin would have went higher. I thought Obi Toppin would have went close to where Patrick Williams and Isaac Okoro went. Those two guys were guys that were consistently lower on the board that moved up.
Yeah,
with them,
he went so high up with Pat.
Well, they were guys that we know that the Knicks were interested in from the beginning. They were guys that were being heavily talked about, especially Okoro because of his defense. Everyone's saying he's going to be the best defensive player in the draft. The biggest problem with Okoro is can he get his own shot and how well of a shot maker is he going to be? Patrick Williams, obviously, everyone knew that he was a great body, but I mean, he came off the bench last year for his team, and his ability to actually create his own shot is not there yet. But he does look like he has a decent form and a decent potential. So that's why, it's easy to see why these guys kind of moved up. But I mean, I think what does that mean about the kid from Israel? I think everyone was expecting him to go a lot higher than this. He would have been a guaranteed top 5 guy. In most people's
draft. I was looking at, and from what I was hearing on, around the casters, right? Like they were really saying that. I mean, he was a risk. That's kind of what I heard. At least to be drafted that high when there were some other guys like those guys that have gone on the board, right? So, again, I'm not giving you guys like straight knowledge. That piece is going to come from Taco. I'm more as a fan spectator, really analyzing the game from what I'm hearing, and some of the guys in what I've seen, the little I have.
Yeah, I mean, just from looking at everything, I just think that his style of play is built for this next level. He has good size. He played alongside guys like Amari Stoudemire. I just honestly, I don't see the upside. Like, I guess Okoro could be a guaranteed defender, a guy that you could slide in, but I don't trust his jump shot right now. And obviously, they have way more scouting than we do. So obviously they'll know this better. But I just can't see Okoro coming out and being a superstar. But the kid from Israel does have more of a bust factor than that. It's a high risk, high reward type pick, but I'm just shocked that he wasn't in the top 5 based off everything going into this that we have seen.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like he was gonna be, and yeah, I am.
It sounds like he's probably gonna go at 9.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he'll still be in the top 10, but
did we go topping?
It looks like it just hasn't been finalized, but yeah, it looks like we're gonna go with Toppin. Now, what's crazy to me is that there was all these rumors about trading and about all these teams that were gonna move, and no one really moved in this draft, which is gonna be a real shocker.
Yeah, it was like leading up to it. Waj was just talking about all everything's on the table for the Timberwolves, and they wanted to bring it to the last minute. But I mean, yeah, they stayed with their course and took their pick at 1.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing I like that we did get about Obi Toppin is that they were talking about trading up for him, and they wanted to get, they were fucking looking for Mitch and some other players involved. Mitch in the 8th pick to move up to 5 to get Obi Toppin, and I'm just like, no. So I'm thrilled that we actually got Toppin. Looks like we're doing it right. We could have gone a lot of other ways. I think he's the bona fide player, bona fide scorer for the first time in a long time. We got a guy that can go put it in the basket, a guy that can get down the floor and fucking finish at the rim off the bounce and fucking. He's like Mitch. Only difference is other than Mitch is like I feel like he can operate better in the low post. I think he can play a small ball 5 really well. I think that it takes us out of the running out of getting a guy like Woods from Detroit. I don't think we're going to be going into free agency for that. I think going into free agency now, Fred VanVleet is someone that we're probably going to be looking at. Just because if you look at Detroit, they're absorbing the money from Trevor Ariza.
Yeah,
it takes down the amount that they're going to be able to offer VanVleet, and then also when you're looking at what's the other place? Phoenix. Phoenix traded for Chris Paul, so they're not going to have the cap.
Right. I saw that was obviously a big trade. I mean, me and you were talking Westbrook too, but they wanted a lot of pieces, right?
Yeah, but I think that with the drafting of Obi Toppin, there is still a possibility that Westbrook could be a Knick. This pick does set it up for.
I think it would be great for New York basketball if Westbrook goes to the Knicks with this young core. We got Harden across the board in Brooklyn. Well,
he's not there yet.
Yeah, I know he's not there yet. I'm just saying that that's where he wants to go. All right, so the pick is in.
Yep. I like that he's a New York kid. His father apparently used to versatile scorer, explosive finisher. His father played at Rucker. His father was like a legendary Rucker player, apparently. So there's a lot about Obi to like. In Dayton, he was he was the college player of the year. So I mean, coming in, this guy, he did it. A lot of people said if there would have been a tournament, he would have had a chance to really show off, and that could have really elevated his stock, because in the tournament is when a lot of people start paying attention to college basketball, and that's where a lot of guys' names get made. Kind of like John Morant. John Morant wouldn't have been that high without the tournament.
Yeah, you're right. And Morant has been, I mean, bona fide stud.
Yeah, I mean, I would have still taken him over Zion. I think that would have been a no-brainer. Zion to me looks like an injury risk.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really shown us what he can do. I think.
Yeah, because he's been injured.
Well, I feel like he's gonna end up being a Blake type player. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he's gonna be.
And you know who John Morant's gonna be? Like a Allen Iverson type player.
Kyrie type. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that Morant hasn't shown, at least in this first season, that he.
And my thing about John, but I didn't cut you off. But my last thing about John Morant is that I feel like he fits perfect with the NBA style that we play today.
For sure. And I mean, that's what a lot of the guys are talking about with, who was it that just went second? That they were saying because he's a center. Who was the second?
James Wiseman.
Yeah, Wiseman. That he looks explosive, looks great. Movement is there for a big guy, but may not fit today's game. I don't know. I think that
I love the. I don't mean to cut you off. You see Obi Toppin right now.
Dude, yeah, I do love that.
He's balling, bro.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Dude, that's like, yo, it's a dream come true to be a Knick. Exactly. Like last year with RJ. Yeah. Like, look at his dad. Even his dad is all like.
Well, what I was gonna say is, actually, before you started saying that, is also that it's nice to see see the draft and to see kids like Obi be excited to be a Knick. Bring that excitement back to the Garden.
Yeah.
Now you like this. Now you got Obi on there. These kids, hopefully, we put a core around those young guys that want to be there. That stick around. I know Melo didn't get drafted by us, right? Went to Syracuse, but he became.
She's pointing to the Knicks. I love that shit. Let's go, baby. Rep it, baby.
But he wanted to come play for New York because of how important that was to him. So it's nice to see. Excited for these.
And the best part is he fits. He fits with what we want to do. Because there was a team talk about Cole Anthony and all that. But let's be real. For this kind of a team, we need a big that could spread the floor and not clog the lane for RJ and give Mitch the space to operate. And that's what Obi could do. He could shoot the three. He could take it to the rack. He could score in the post. So when we need a bucket, this is the bucket. It's going to be a little more old school now that we have a post guy like this. But at the end of the day, I think we'll get our point guard.
They're pointing at the Knicks head. Is that what it was?
Yep. I think we'll get. I think that now we're the major player for Van Fleet. It's either Van Fleet's going to the Raptors or is coming to us. If we miss out on that, then what's going to happen is we're either going to maybe make the deal for Westbrook, or which is what I hope, we don't do anything. We punt it to next year, and we make the move for a playmaker next year. And next year's either free agency or draft class. Next year's draft class is apparently stacked, and with 2 picks, maybe we'll get enough capital.
What are the 2 picks we have for next? I mean, we have the regular pick, and then who else's pick do we have?
Dallas's unprotected pick, and KP is going to start the season on the injured list because of the injury that he had. So we don't know when KP comes back.
So it's not even like top 10 or top 15 protected or anything.
Nope, we can get wherever it is. So if they miss the playoffs, we get that pick. If they miss the playoffs and they're in the lottery and in the 0.105% chance that they have or whatever, win the fucking shit and get the number 1 pick, we get that number 1 pick. It's ours. So my thing is like this: the West is super competitive.
True that. You know what?
Lord knows what happens with KP.
And
what if hypothetically, whatchamacallit gets hurt?
I mean, that's wishful thinking, right? Like, but
no,
you're right.
out.
You're right. The new number one, the way that the lottery has been, is a little bit anybody kind of has a chance, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
even we can move up like 2 or 3 spots. Even like, I mean, to me, it's just I think there's no guarantee that he's going to be or that they're going to be in the playoffs. We have to see what happens. KP is hurt. We don't know if they're going to be able to get another player to complement.
And Luka goes out there and wins games.
But Luka can't easily get. But if Luka got nobody in the West, that's going to be hard. There was no Steph Curry last year. Now Phoenix is going to be a problem.
No, you're right.
And then we got to see what happens with Houston. We got to see what happens with
right. Because if Houston becomes a rebuild organization, I mean, right there, you're gonna knock them right off of the playoffs. I mean, they're not gonna be back in it for in contention for a couple years.
Right, but then you could say the Pelicans might have a shot to move up.
Yeah, I mean, but you're not talking
West is competitive
by a big margin, right? I mean, you got a lot of teams right at the bottom of that, like who played in. The Blazers played in. You have the Suns coming up, and so there's a little trade off there. So you're right. You bring up some good points that Dallas might not necessarily, just it's not a lock for them to even be in the playoffs. So they definitely could be, fall anywhere, but the play-in, right? That's the thing. They're going to do that again this year, which I like. But for picks like what we're talking about, just for the sake of conversation, you're really not gonna. It's not really gonna help if let's just say they're in the 10th spot and then they play in.
Well, that yeah, that I agree with. But hopefully the things break our way. That's part of you got to be in it to win it kind of thing. It's like
you called Denny going 7.
Yeah, I just made. At this point in the draft, to me, it's just too much talent. Like I probably would take him over a guy like Okoro just because, again, his fit in today's NBA. He's a stretch, basically big. That can create.
Washington, like they've had. I mean, what's his name? He's been out for so long now.
John Wall. Yeah, but it's Bradley Beal's team.
Yeah,
and I do think that Thomas Bryant at center is a really solid piece. He could shoot. He could defend. I like putting him alongside those guys. I think that Washington is interesting, but I don't think that John Wall is it. I think that John Wall and Beal, I think that experiment kind of really didn't work. And apparently Wall was taken aback when he found out that the team was planning to build more around Beal than around him. And I think it's fair because let's face it, Wall's been out.
Yeah. You've had 2 years almost being out. Yep. Like just at that point, I mean, you can't keep counting on a guy that's he's not on the court. He's on the bench. I mean, you got to win games. It's about winning games. You can't build franchises around injured guys.
Nope.
So yeah, I don't blame him. When's the last time Beal was out for 2 years?
Yeah. And now here's the crazy thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the 10th pick, right?
Yeah.
So roughly we have about like 16, not 16, 13 more picks. 13, 14 more picks till we go again.
Who do you like at that? I know we moved up. I mean, was there's somebody clearly they liked that they made a trade to move up? So I'm curious to see who they liked enough that kind of was going to fall to them. But I'm curious to also think who you think that they're going after.
I mean, I think this is a situation where if you move up like that, you either were trying to make another move or there was somebody in that range that you really wanted.
Right.
Now, I had heard rumors that they were looking at a couple of big men. But also I think that there's a possibility that with getting Obi in the first pick that you may look at taking a guard, especially a young playmaker at this point in the draft. But if your plan is to go out into free agency and secure a guy like Fred VanVleet, early on, because I think if we have VanVleet with this team.
Yeah, but he's not I mean, I know you've mentioned him quite a few times. If you ask me, I mean, yes, if he's available, go get him. It kind of just, solidifies the team a little bit more. But I don't necessarily like him to be an exciting piece to add as a, now, again, if we're punting to next year, then yes. if you just want, I mean, if I'd like to get into the playoffs, if that's just,
if we want to start getting competitive, you
yes,
like that's what you want. Then you're number one. Then what you're doing is you're saying maximum money for VanVleet. You know why? Because like obviously near the max of what we can offer him, but like he's gonna get, well, I mean, I don't know about like. Here's the thing about the NBA: there's certain max levels for each player. Like obviously, like you can't get above a certain threshold, but he's gonna get a significant contract.
saying, why would I give him a significant contract? I wouldn't get somebody like that to lock up any amounts of money. If I have an opportunity to just play out the, what I have right now, core guys.
But you're trying to be competitive, right? And
if you want a point guard. Right. If I'm trying to be competitive,
and he was the lead. Him and Kyle Lowry were on the floor when they beat Golden State. And Fred VanVleet was locking down Steph Curry, playing one-on-one defense with him. And Fred VanVleet is one of the top shooters right now in the league.
I wouldn't call him the top shooters.
Percentage wise, yeah.
Well, well then percentage wise, they don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, like that. That's kind of my thing about VanVleet, and he's a champion, bro. He's a gritty champion that I feel like when you put him in that locker room, it's kind of like because he's the dude that was undrafted that worked his ass off to get where he is. You know what I mean? Sure, like you put that guy in there kind of as a leader type, and I think that's an interesting situation. Now, originally, I wasn't that high in a VanVleet.
Me too.
But to me, I think when you look at him as a scorer, and even if let's just say we put it as we get him this year and next year we get another point guard, and then make him the sixth man off the bench, where you could play him at shooting guard, point guard, because he could play decent defense and he could shoot the three really well. I think that regardless of anything, he can make a fit and make a play, and he has the championship pedigree of the authority that he would command on the team. Because guess what? When he comes in and he's talking and he's the fucking champ, guess what? You're a little rookie that don't know shit. You're going to listen to the guy, but versus just some regular guy that's just sitting there. So I do think that for the Knicks, with all these young guys that we have, I would like to have a guy in there that has some championship pedigree, that's won something, that won't put up with that nonsense that we've dealt with for years. I mean,
you sound 100% sold. That's why I'm just like, okay, well, I get it. You're kind of rattling his credentials. I get it. No, I'm just not so high on saying like that's the sole option of where we should go.
What else? I mean, at point guard, what would you do? You would go get who? DJ Augustine?
Who?
DJ Augustine? Like that's like literally what you're looking at, like based on who's available in free agency right now. Like it's not like there's
I mean, I'm sure there's some other options. What I'm saying is that if we're gonna go with the core of what we have, then maybe I do sign a DJ Augustine and play out this year, and like you said, punt to next year, and then we see what we have, develop the players a little bit further, let Obi and RJ, gel a little bit better. And then who says that they may not surprise us and play really well
to the Suns? Yo, Halliburton is in an epic slide right now.
What number was he predicted? Wasn't he?
Halliburton was. I thought that we might get an 8.
Yeah, Stephen A. was saying that. Wasn't he saying that? Yeah,
he was the guy that he thought we were gonna get.
Yeah. And
I was sitting there. I was remember when we were sitting here and I was talking about it, and I was like, I wanted Hayes, and I thought Hayes would go right before us, and I was like, I wanted Okongwu, but Okongwu went right before that, and then I was like, we're gonna be left with Halliburton. But what happened is that Obi slipped, which I couldn't have seen.
Did you see Max's face? So he was like, "You don't want to go Halliburton at that pick."
Yeah.
It was a little funny though, because
it's the number one thing that I was saying. Like everyone worries about that jump shot with him just because of his mechanics. Like it's like you're a good shooter, yes, but if your mechanics look like that, once you get to the NBA, that timing it speeds up. You don't have as much time to get your shot off in the NBA as you do in the college game. So with his long extended mechanics, it's going to make it so much harder for him to shoot that his percentages are going to go down, or that's what most scouts are thinking, and that's why he's having this big slide right now.
How far down do you think he slides?
I don't think he really goes past San Antonio right here.
Okay.
But and again, anything can happen. I know that San Antonio was the first ones on Patrick Williams. I know that Kyra Lewis Jr. is someone that the Knicks really like as a playmaker. And if we could try to trade up and get Kyra in this draft, I think the fan base will fucking go crazy. Like when I say the fan base wants them some Kyra, they want them some Kyra, but also some Maxi. If we can get Maxi too,
I feel like but I think I mean it's exciting to get new and talented kids like we're getting, right? Like this, but I don't know that that the fan base is like, hey, let's get me some Kyra Jr. You know,
no,
like
bro, they a lot of, like I would say about 20% of the fan base
really
would have taken Kyra at 8.
At 8,
bro. This kid put on 15
over Obi.
Well, no. This is before we knew Obi coming down. Everyone expected Obi to go in the top 5.
Okay.
So this is why when Patrick Williams went up.
Just
so when Patrick Williams and Vassell went up, when Patrick Williams, and Okoro went up, all the boards shifted, and Devi and Obi were the ones that fell. Yeah. So no one expected Obi to really be there. Like they were talking about trading up to get Obi. So when he fell to us, it was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? So that's why right now, when you look at it, it's an interesting situation to see what happens with a guy like Kyra, because if Obi's gone, do you then it's the Devi, the European guy, or it's Kyra, or it's Halliburton. That's what you're looking at.
Oh, so
if Obi's gone, that's Kyra possibly go right there. So I think Kyra is probably going to go in the next couple of picks as well.
Yeah, I mean they have him at least on ESPN. I think they were saying 4 from top available.
Yep.
Best available.
He's a guy like Patrick Williams.
Actually, they got him at 5 for best.
They had Patrick Williams as like the 10th best player available, and he went 4th.
Yeah.
So
I know. I mean.
So, but I mean, they have Cole Anthony here as the 4th best available player on that list, right? Yeah. I don't think Cole Anthony goes in the next 4 picks.
But obviously it depends on your team. It depends on the dynamic of the players that you have
to go in similar range, right?
Right.
I think Cole Anthony is someone that we could possibly get at 23. And Cole Anthony coming into this was it looks like Halliburton's probably the pick.
For San Antonio.
Yep. Let's see.
The picks, is it in? If anybody's watching, more than happy to take a question and answer it for you guys.
Yep. All right.
If you guys are excited about your pick, let us know what you think.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. I think it's going to be interesting. I think they've slowed down with the order coming in, so I think these guys are starting to slow down, and maybe some more trades are being discussed, because I think coming in, everyone expected to see a couple of trades, and so far we've gotten nothing. We've seen the top 10 go down with no trades, no movement. I think that
Devin Pascal, trade, man. They were saying trade. It's crazy trade. Waj was like he was on the magic wall alert. Like they were just going to Waj for everything. But yeah, no, you're right. I didn't mean to cut you off either.
Wow, the pick is in before it got spoiled. Oh, there goes Devin Vassell.
Devin went over Halliburton.
Yeah.
So, you got Cole Anthony, Nesmith, Kyra. Huh?
Yeah, I think that Halliburton doing this
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably doesn't get past this pick. If he gets past this one, then who knows? He may have the Aaron Rodgers effect, something people don't know. And obviously mentioning Aaron. Huh?
Who's picking at 12? Kings don't take Halliburton. No way the Kings take Halliburton, because you already have Buddy Hield and you have De'Aaron Fox. I don't really. I think that 13 is a nice little landing spot for him, or 14 with the Celtics for Halliburton. I think that if you're looking at a team that has a point guard, you might be looking for someone that could play the wing or big. In this situation, I don't see the list anymore.
Yeah, no, I see. We got Sacramento 12. And
yeah, to me, the Kings they can't go
so the
out.
Pelicans have 13. I don't know. They don't.
But the
Well,
Pelicans just traded Justin Holiday.
oh right.
And
Yeah.
you're probably not sold on whatchamacallit on Lonzo. I mean, I think that Lonzo could be really solid, but I think that but then again, you're gonna have two guys with two weird jump shots in that same backcourt.
Man, Minnesota had the 17th pick too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. Some of these guys have developed a lot of draft equity, like the Thunder. The Thunder have a ton of picks. So that's something that's super interesting.
They got Devin. They got
Devin Vassell.
yeah,
Basically, he was the guy that they were talking about us getting at 8. It was literally between him, Kyra, and Halliburton. That's who we were really getting at 8. So the Obi slide was just like a miracle.
yeah.
Like no one saw that coming. Like some people started to see it coming. There was some rumbling that there was going to be a shakeup. There was talks that we were looking at Patrick Williams. So Patrick Williams might have been the guy that we could have taken there, I think. But I don't think Patrick Williams is as ready to play as Obi. Obi's ready to go now.
Yeah, I mean, Obi looks ready to go. You know, he looks built. You know, NBA ready.
That he's older, so it's like he spent more time working on his game than some of these other guys. Some of these other guys are like 19 and barely played fucking basketball. Like Williams. Williams came off the bench. Williams wasn't even a starter on his team, right? Obi Toppin was college player of the year. So,
Right.
like, overall, yeah, we think Williams in 3 years is going to be the better player. But coming into this season right now, Obi Toppin is going to be probably one of the front runners for Rookie of the Year. I think he'll be right there in the top 4.
I mean, let's not start giving awards so early into just the draft class. Let's see what NBA is where the big boys play.
Right, but if you come out of this project, because I mean, obviously that's what you do. You look at the draft and you say, all right, so if things go right, where do you see these guys going now that they're in their place?
But you're going to look at it from every perspective of the player you draft, even above us, right? So when you're saying that, I mean, you're saying that above every guy above his level.
Well, because like I was saying, some of these guys, like Killian Hayes, is not ready to step in and be a day one point guard. But in 3 years, he will be better than probably Obi Toppin.
Of Morant right off the bat, though. Did you think that
the difference of Morant off the bat is that he was that dude? But
see, but you that's not I'm just saying that's not something that we're privy to know. We don't have the crystal ball to tell us that if any of these guys are going to take it to that gear. We're hoping
that's the game you play. So like last year, going into that last year draft, I came in saying this guy's going to be Rookie of the Year. I said John Morant was going to be better than Zion from the rip. You're like, how could you say that? How could you say that? Well, when you look at his college game, when you project him out to the NBA, it's kind of like what you have to do in fantasy sports. Like some guys, you may draft them expecting huge things, but when you look at them, you're like, well, they've never done that in their career. Well, based on everything, that's kind of what you project. So, like for me, the way I project it is, you look at LaMelo at 3. He's probably going to have the ball a lot, and he's probably going to get a lot of usage. Wiseman at 2. You're going on a team with a lot of already pre-made players. So statistically, what are you going to be able to do in order to be in that conversation? I think it becomes hard for him to become Rookie of the Year. When you look at a guy like Halliburton, there he goes. He went to the Kings. Kings took him.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a suit though. That's a suit. I mean, that's an interesting fit. I feel like. I mean, they lost Bogdanovich, but I mean, you have Healed, you have Fox, you have him. I mean, I know he plays decent off the ball, but I think that's an interesting fit. If you ask me, I think that I think it was just probably best player available type situation.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you might have had other guys, but if they fall, if somebody falls like that to you, then you might as well. You have to take them.
Yep, and just my point with what I was saying about Obi Toppin possibly winning Rookie of the Year. It's just he's gonna get so much fucking playing time, and he's gonna get so much opportunity to score and do everything that he could have a statistically monster season again. And like I said, they had him projected in the top 5. So it's not like this, and he was the college player of the year. So it's not like when I'm talking about like, well, hyping up guys.
I got you. I'm not saying that he won't be. I'm just saying let's not just instantly give him the title. Is all I was saying, because I
I'm
hate
not giving him the title, but I'm saying he's going to go in as like if you would look at Vegas betting odds right now to be Rookie of the Year, I would say he'd be a top 4 Vegas betting odd for Rookie of the Year.
I got you. That's a good question. I'll look at the odds. Look at what the line opens at, but or if it's already open.
But I think probably once the draft finishes, they'll have that.
Good point. What happened?
I said probably once the draft finishes, they'll have that shakeout.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I get it. I just as a Knicks fan to see a new exciting player continue to build the core around RJ.
RJ Mitchell and Obi.
Yeah.
Now God forbid Knox and Frank turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, you were really excited about Knox last year, like really, really excited.
I'm more excited about Knox than I'm about Frank. I think Frank is going to be elite. I think that my thing with Frank is that he needed to get his confidence up. But if you look to see what he did at the end of last season, he really started to step up. And he added a lot of weight in the offseason. He looks like he worked on his handles. So I'm going to be really thrilled to see what he does in this upcoming season that we have and just see how they play. Because, to me, I think Frank is more of a 2 guard than a point guard. I think he's better at he can shoot from, he could spot up and shoot. He can occasionally create. I'd rather get a dominant point guard that can get his own shot and get a shot for others. And then I would like to have him playing the 2 guard, playing the backup point guard. And I think we'd run a lot better. To me, I don't know if he is a bona fide, how do you say it? Starting point guard. But I think I think that he's a legit piece to any championship team. Yeah, defensively, he's going to be at least one of the top 15 defenders in the league.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, I think that he shows it, but again, with the added muscle and with everything that he's done in the offseason, we have to really see what he could do. But just based on that and what he's done in his career, I mean, the defense that he played against Luka, when you look at the statistics and the analytics. He was the best defender on Luka Doncic in the NBA. So, and the Knicks swept the Mavericks last year. So, for everything,
believe that, right?
We did. So,
no. Listen, I remember the KP booing.
Remember the dunk that Frank had on KP? That game Frank played out, bro. Like he was just like it was like some like if he could bottle that and just keep that passion, I think all those Knicks fans would be happy. I know the base is divided on Frank. He's a divisive player.
What do you think the Pelicans do here with this pick?
Pelicans?
They were talking a lot of like, they need a center to complement
they do.
Zion. So you think that
Precious Achiuwa is someone that I know or that I hear. I heard Penny Hardaway talking a lot about Precious Achiuwa. But my question is this maybe a little too early for Precious? I see Nesmith. Nesmith is a bona fide shooter. And I think putting Nesmith on this team could be really dynamic. Just because you already have Alonzo Ball, you have a Zion Williams, you have Brandon Ingram. So I think he's someone that's good. Tyrese Maxey could be someone that could be really good on this team because he's a bona fide scorer. If you look at the guys, some of the guys that are left there, I feel like RJ Hampton, if God forbid he falls to us at 23, I'd be ecstatic. He's just a great, scorer. But again, I don't know where some of these guys go. The problem with RJ Hampton is that he played overseas. So it's not like he had the benefit of college or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We got about 10 picks until we go.
Yeah.
But I think that Precious, if they want to go big, would be the guy. But I don't know if he's big enough to go big for them. I think, Tyrese. Tyrese Maxey, from everything I'm hearing, is going to be a bona fide scorer. And he's coming out of Kentucky. The guy that we have, our new assistant coach, Kenny Payne, was from Kentucky. And he's like what they call the big man whisperer. He helped develop DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, and a lot of other big men that came out of this Kentucky program that, are perennial all-stars. Cat, He had Carl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins all under his tutelage. So like,
yeah, and clearly that's a, I mean, that's a notice. No,
yeah, like, and the thing about it is when they all came into the NBA, they all had skills. They were ready to play. They developed. They were guys that could work in the post. Now, if we can have a guy like that on our regular staff, developing our players, our young guys, working with the Mitchell, they got him to really work with the guy like Knox. To me, I think that could pay dividends, and I think that's something that, if we have this extra, investment equity, put it into into developing our resources and getting the guys, fully ready and fully built to be NBA.
What excites me about at least what's going on so far, right, with the Knicks, the rebuild process obviously has been long, but it's exciting to. What I would like to see is that a team like the Knicks.
Damn, they took Kyra.
They took Kyra.
Wow.
You didn't want them to. I did, and I was like, I noticed that you didn't even mention Kyra.
I told you the Knicks fans would have taken him at 8. I think that means that. I mean, hell, with Kyra going here, if I could try to trade for Lonzo Ball, I would. But
Lonzo can't shoot, man. Like,
what? No, Lonzo worked on his shot last year. Look at his percentages. He was shooting really well from 3-point range last year.
But why would you get rid of him after for drafting Kyra? Like,
what do you mean? Well, because you're more than likely, because next year Lonzo is a free agent, right? And you just drafted your point guard potentially of the future, right? So then wouldn't it make sense? You can get some assets. You could do some, like, there was already rumors that last year they might have traded, Ball. You still have Hart. You still can go into free agency.
But Lonzo's not a free agent. So you're saying that we go out and get Lonzo on a trade and give up what for him? A draft pick? Like, I
the 23rd pick and something else, maybe. I wouldn't mind doing 23rd and something else. Maybe try to package Dennis Smith Jr. and the pick
for him now.
I mean, coming into the season, yes, I would put him with this team.
Yeah, but you're saying trade at 23rd, like you're acting as if we would call right now and say, let's get Lonzo.
I mean, why not?
I don't think that they would do that. I don't think that they would go out and trade. They made that trade. I don't think that they thought that
Kyra they didn't make the trade though for Ball. They made the trade for the picks and for Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is the guy that he plays small forward, shooting guard. So you need that point guard that you get.
No, the point is that they didn't make that trade to move up from the 34th or what was it 30? What pick did we have? We went from the 20.
We went from 27 and 38 to 23. So we only went up 4 to 5 spots.
That's what I'm saying. We went 4 to 5 spots up. We didn't make that trade up without knowing that we wanted somebody there. Like we're not going to go out there and just give that.
Usually you make that move as the draft's going on because you feel the board. We had no clue about the board when you make that.
True that.
It's not like you were just doing that to get an asset. So that's why I'm saying because to me, I feel like Lonzo Ball is like a perfect fit now because Lob City would be, between Obi and Mitch and RJ, we will be we'll be the new Lob City. But again, it all depends. I mean, I don't mind waiting for him to next year either. Again, free agency.
He's not a free agent. Like if he's gonna be a free agent next year, I mean, why trade any assets for him? You know what I mean?
Because if he resigns with the Pelicans, then
I would say, if you just said you drafted your point guard of the future, would he want to resign? He's not going to get that many minutes. I mean, unless you're going small ball.
Well, that's the thing about Lonzo, though. Lonzo is like 6'5", 6'6". Mm-hmm. He could play shooting guard. He could play small forward. I mean, shooting guard, point guard. And depending on who you're facing, because a lot of teams now are running small ball, you could have him going against some threes. So he could really that's a beautiful thing about Frankie. Frankie can guard some threes. Like we saw Frankie on Greek Freak. So that's the thing about some of these guys is that they have the versatility and the size like Alonzo and like a LaMelo where they're big enough and they're point guards, but they could play 2, they could play 3, and you could really run diverse lineups. That's why I also feel like a guy like Van Fleet fits well with our team because we have a guy like Frank who can sure up whatever the top scorer is, and you can kind of put Van Fleet on the other option and kind of hide him on defense a little bit. So it's like, let's just say their point guard is their best player. Then let's put Frank on their best player, put Van Fleet on the guy that's running around or the number 2 guard, right? And if the shooting guard's the number 1 guy, then put Frank on him and let Van Fleet guard the point guard. But I put Frank on their best offensive weapon, and you could always put Van Fleet on the other side. But that's to say that they even get a chance at him because Toronto just might throw the whole kitchen sink at him,
right?
And we don't even get a chance. But
yeah, we'll see.
Yep, we'll see. I mean, Aaron Nesmith, I thought he would have been gone by now. I thought that Nesmith would have been a better fit than Kyra. I mean, I guess, again, they probably went best player available, but Nesmith is apparently a lockdown shooter. Cole Anthony, like I said, he might drop. Tyrese Maxey, that's a guy that, there's a lot of rumors about him just because he is coming from Sadiq Bey, RJ Hampton.
They actually signed Gordon. I heard they extended the time frame, but he didn't.
Yeah, because they were thinking about doing a trade.
Yeah,
like a sign and trade. So they basically wanted to punt it before just so that they had options available, kind of thing.
They did resign then, or he picked up his option. I heard he moved his option to Thursday.
Right. So they did it so that they could decide on like maybe a trade. So if they were going to do a trade or do anything like that before he opted in, because they were trying to move him, I think that basically if nothing happens, he just might opt in and just play out that final season.
$34 million. You take that opt in right now, especially.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like I mean, the money might be out there, obviously, for a player like Gordon. I would definitely want somebody like that, but
not since his injury. I think his market has gone significantly down. He's not as athletic as he used to be. That's why Boston's looking to move off of him. Because think about it, Boston is in the prime of their run right now.
They are.
And they're looking to move off of him.
Like, you're overlooking Gordon like if he's not even an asset. Like, I would say that he's a piece player.
$32 million?
Listen, I'm not saying
what the fuck? $32 million for a guy that's a number 3?
He's an asset in the name. You're not letting me finish my. I'm saying at the team level that we have.
And who would you trade for him?
No, I'm not saying trade for him. I'm saying if he doesn't pick up his play, if he doesn't pick up his player option, he would become a free agent, right? I mean, he would go out to the market.
Aaron Nesmith just went to Boston. Play small forward. The guy that I was talking about, the shooter that I thought was going to go to the Pelicans. So he's going to Boston. Wow. He's supposed to be a scorer.
I'm going to have to leave it here with you, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys watching. I don't know if you're going to continue it just at least until the next draft or not, but I'm going to call it for this one just because I have a couple of guests here as well, guys.
Oh, yeah. All right, brother. Keep it easy. Keep it safe.
Yeah,
we're going to keep it rocking. I think, I don't know, we got 8 picks until us. I don't know. That's a lot of picks. I might come in with the reaction afterwards because that's a lot of picks.
Maybe we'll come back on live afterwards. So
yeah. Let me know because we can always do a recap after.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you guys. Definitely throw some questions our way on Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts about who you guys got, who your team got. We're excited about Obi. So what you got for him, Taco?
Yeah, I mean, I just got to say, Obi Rookie of the Year 2020? 2021? Is that what's happening? Are we talking about that yet?
Right off the bat.
Are we there yet?
No.
All right, later.
Asking when are the Obi-Wan, Star Wars references going to be coming into play? I feel like marketing in New York City is,
Well, I mean, we have Han who plays Han Solo.
Yeah.
And now we have Obi. I think that's going to be for Obi and Han.
Is with us now. I mean, let's
bruh. It's good. It's good.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no.